Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them. On the 20th of November 2003, James Ignatius O'Rourke McMahon was elected councillor for the Failsworth East Ward of Oldham. Deeply ambitious, he ruthlessly rose to power, and by 2011 he was already leader of the council. In 2015, exploiting a Labour Party loophole, he became MP for Oldham West and Royton. If only the people of the town knew then what they now know. Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them.
A very, very good evening, Sunday the 28th of April 2024. My name is Raj Amir. This is a Recusant 9 transmission, Sunday night, free to air. By all means, feel free to like, share, comment away, and if you are of a mind, buy me a samosa. The link is at the top, it's pinned at the top, or you can just super chat. The transmissions are only possible with your support. People continue to support me despite the best efforts of others to mock me and ridicule me. The latest one is a man called Shah. Shah, just you wait. Just you wait. Of course, Shah is a secret Labour Party supporter, comes from a family of Labour Party supporters who is now busy attempting to do what so many others before have tried and failed. I know you're watching because you like to twist what I say. Well, I'm here. Come out of your anonymous fake profiles and all of the WhatsApp group and why don't you stand? Why don't you stand? Shah, of course, is busy in the coldest and Chadderton area. I'm not just trying to undermine and attack me, but he's actually he's one of a small number of individuals whose motives should concern all of you. I know, and for those of you who don't know who I'm making reference to, he's the one that the police have spoken to regarding Peter Brown, and Peter Brown reported him to the police. So that's who the individual is. Okay, let's get on with this evening's transmission. You will have noticed, if you live in Royton, hopefully Royton North in particular, you'll have got one of my leaflets. They are my leaflets. They're not the Conservative leaflets, and they're not Lewis Quigg's leaflets, as according to Shah, who's trying to claim that Lewis Quigg is a racist and a Zionist and all sorts of other things, and this sort of incitement. The police really should get involved. The police really should get involved with these people, because they get involved with us, don't they? And all we say is nibble samosa. But these Labour Party activists, secret Labour Party activists, as we have all become familiar with, get a complete free ride in this town. Which is why it didn't surprise me to hear stories of the police are visiting members of the public who they don't like the way they're campaigning or whether they've registered their postal votes. Of course, the people they're visiting are the ones who aren't supporting Labour. The Labour Party get out of jail card, that free pass, that immunity, can be traced all the way back to Shabir Daddy Ahmed and members of the rape gangs, because that's what takes place in this town. That's what takes place in this town, sadly. And indeed, Gary, no one listens to me. No one watches me. No one listens to me, which is fine. So why, not the stats, Gary, but why all the antagonism? If no one listens to me and no one is influenced by what I say, then just leave me alone. It's what I'd be doing with you lot. If no one listened to me. We have been pushing on Facebook again in the lead up to the election. The reason why is Facebook matches the demographic and the profiles of people who vote in our town. It always has done in the way we campaign, and in the lead up to the election, we ramp up Facebook. I'm not very keen on Facebook because the way it shadow bans and censors me, but we've got round that for now until someone else complains and something else happens. But For now, up to the election, we've managed to get around it, and we've spent a significant amount of money on not just the leaflets, but also on some Facebook ads. We mopped up the income that we've got from the crowdfunder. The crowdfunders raised just under £1,200, which, you know, is more than enough for the 2 leaflets we've put out. One was in Royton and the other one was in Chadderton Central. Royton because for 2 reasons. One is I'm standing for MP, and the word Royton appears in the constituency name. So, and I campaigned in Royton last year as well. So I'll do that. I'll put those leaflets out. I think Gary's out, Ian's out. Today there was a team out with Lynn, Sheila, Elaine. So there's a team out, and also Paul helped out today. And we had a team out, and yeah, the leaflets are going well. The leaflets in Royton are going well. I'm not campaigning for Lewis. I'm not campaigning for anyone. I'm campaigning for myself. And I'm campaigning against Labour. What I'm doing now is what I've done from the beginning. I'm asking people a very, very simple, blunt question. To ask Clint Piffian, does he still believe that a public inquiry into the cover-up of the grooming and gang rape of working-class white girls in our town is a waste of money? It's a fair question, I think, to ask of a candidate for election when he was last councillor stood up and said it was a waste of money. So I want people, 1, reminded of it, 2, to ask him, and 3, to know that actually there's a mainstream brown-faced campaigner such as myself, Muslim, who is campaigning on this issue and has been campaigning right from the outset, because contrary to what they want to promote us as, you and I, we're not the racist that they claim we are, and we never were the racist that they claimed we are. So that leaflet is doing very, very well. It'll be mopped up tomorrow. And the other leaflet has gone out in Chadderton Central. And Peter Brown himself, who's the candidate that we're sponsoring. I'm his agent. We're sponsoring Peter Brown. We're supporting Peter Brown. He's standing in Warren's stead. And it's gone down well in Chadderton Central as well. And we've got a 70-year-old man out delivering his leaflets with us. This is Elaine Taylor's leaflet. Vote Labour for a better Chadderton. Absolute nonsense. Flanked by her 2 bag carriers, Mohan Ali and Nazrul Islam. They're not even delivering their own leaflets. Look, this is what it's been going out with. They're paying people to deliver their leaflets with, what's this, Heron Foods. And the reason I've got this, I found it on the street, on the floor, whilst the delivery guy was delivering leaflets from. So they're paying someone to deliver their leaflets for them, which there is no need to do in a council election, really, particularly if it's your own ward. You should be out delivering your own leaflets, Elaine. And let's face it, the exercise would do you good. Yes, Elaine, I just said that. I believe the exercise would do you good. The exercise does all of us good. Walking does all of us good. Maybe you should have cycled and then got some stupid cycle lanes put in Chadderton Central as well. So Elaine Taylor isn't out delivering her leaflets. Peter Brown is delivering his own leaflets. And in Royton, we are delivering our own leaflets as well. Can't see Elaine pounding the streets in her condition. What condition is that, Chris? Has she got an ailment of some sort? If she's got an ailment or a disability of some sort, someone please tell me and I'll apologise immediately. If there's a disability preventing her from going out to delivering her leaflets, if she's registered disabled, then someone should tell me. To the best of my awareness, she isn't registered disabled in any way. But I don't know what her ailment is. Okay, I want to bring up the Facebook stuff first, so you can have a good look at it. This is the Recusant Nine Facebook page. Many of you have got invites to like it and follow it. There's 3,900 likes and 4,400 followers. Many of you are not following it yet. So there's an invite on your Facebook page. Please do at least follow it, and that way, in the lead up to the election, everything will go up on there, and you'll be able to see it straight away. Your notifications, if they're on, They will do. I put this up this morning, which is the photograph from the secret meeting that they had, and just to prove that that secret meeting took place. This is their photograph. You can see Arud Shah there with Ruzi, Surjan, Jabbar and Bilda Malik were there as well. They were sat on the left-hand side of that photograph, so I've got a photograph with them on it, but they wouldn't fit in. You need a wide-angled lens is what you need, and you get them all in. But Ruji, Surjan and Arud Shah were the only females there. It was a meeting on Osborne Street with the coldest Labour Party generals. So that's what it's... Oops. Yes, very well. And I will get on to recommendations as well, Zach, so don't worry about that. I'll get on to that. Evan, do you see samosas? I see chutney as well. Evan, I see mango chutney as well. And I also see a bottle of Coke on there. Now, Coke is on the banned list or boycott list of the Muslims. So clearly, you know, the Arud Shah and their generals aren't keen. And I think, Charles, £20,000 is the least of how much where the money's gone. £20,000 is the least of it. We all know what's going on. So this I put up this morning. 48 comments, 138 likes, 68 shares. I put the link up to this transmission earlier in the week. I know it's not the best thumbnail. 21 shares. I created a Facebook reel. I don't know what they are, but Facebook recommended it, and it's had 1,100 plays. The Osborne obituaries. So in that meeting on Osborne Street, members of her own team said they weren't voting Labour, and she's toast. That got 40 shares. This is the first of the videos I put out with the majority down to 1. It's the Rihanna sort of song playing in the background, music playing in the background. And that has got 4,700 views and 187 shares. It's promoting the webpage, 27 shares. Please do sign up to the webpage. I know the Red Wall and the Rabble, most of you aren't signed up, and that's fine, but it is free. You can sign up for free. The paid stuff is, is only if you need to. The newsletters appear in your inbox, the links appears in your inbox, and all of that's free. This is Clint Piffian's video, in case anyone disputed what he actually said. That's doing very, very well, 100 shares and 3,800 views. So that's doing very, very well. And here's Peter Brown. It's just a little post promoting Peter Brown out there delivering his own leaflets. That's another leaflet you guys paid for, who supported the crowdfunder. Thank you very, very much. That's contrary to Anita Lowe's attempts to sabotage that. Anita, I'll get to Anita in a moment. Disgraceful woman. But that's 98 shares. So 2 more shares and that'll get to 100 shares. But 167 likes. So that's what we've been doing. Very much promoting on Facebook in the lead up to the election. Please do like, please do share and follow the Facebook Recusant 9 page if you are yet to do so. Because in the lead up to the election, that's where we'll put most of our content out. We do very well on Twitter anyway. We do very well, hundreds of thousands of likes, views, comments every week on Twitter. But that's from a national and international audience really, but our Facebook audience is more local. So and it's a leveler for us. It's why they wanted us off it. It's why they've desperately campaigned to remove us, and as you can see, they've failed miserably. Wilby and his team have failed miserably. So that's that. Let me move on to more pressing matters. I'm in court on Thursday. It's my trial. I'm restricted from what I can say about it because my bail conditions are, well, they're staggering really, but that's by the by. Best part of 3 years I've been on bail, and I was informed, it was Gary told me on Friday. I was out delivering some leaflets, and Gary spoke to me in the morning, Friday. Can't keep up every day as I'm out delivering leaflets. And Wilby had written an article saying my trial had been adjourned. My team spoke to the court and the CPS. As far as we're aware, remember I've got a solicitor, I've got a barrister. As far as we're aware, there's a trial on Thursday and the courts have not told us anything contrary to that. So those of you who are due to attend, please do attend. If it changes, of course, I'll tell you. But as far as I know, I am, and as far as my legal team knows, and as far as the court is concerned itself, my trial will take place on Thursday and Friday. It's split over 2 days, and I think the plan is I will give testimony on Friday, and the prosecution will lay out its case on Thursday. So I'll see you all there, and if it changes, I will let you know. But that's not what's happening as far as I'm concerned. And it wouldn't be the first time Wilby's made anything up. Remember when he reported me to the Attorney General's office? Me and my friend Warren Bates, because we had a coffee in Costa, and Warren and I put a photograph up of the pair of us having a coffee together. He reported me to the Attorney General's office. He's also reported me to the Electoral Commission in an attempt to try and prevent me from standing as candidate for MP. This man is a troll, he's a malicious blogger, he's a proven liar, and I'm not sure why so many of you have entertained him. So as far as I know, there's no adjournment, and the court hasn't told me, and if it was, I think someone would tell me and I would relay the information onto you. But my request of all of you is please do turn up to court on Thursday, because justice needs to be seen to be done in the eyes of the public. The magistrates' court isn't the best of courts, as other campaigners will have experienced themselves, and I'm hoping that a packed public gallery will make sure that things are done properly. Things are done properly. Speaking of Warren, I went to his funeral on Wednesday. It was befitting of the man to have all the people there from across all political persuasions. It was and funerals are these sort of places where you're respectful. You're respectful of others regardless of your differences, and I think it's important I highlight this. One, I saw Mark Wilkinson there. He sat in front of me. I didn't speak to him, he didn't speak to me, but we didn't row with each other because it was someone else's funeral. So has to be acknowledged. I saw Pete Davis there. Remember, I've mocked Pete Davis non-stop for the last 4 years, Labour Party councillor, Failsworth West. He said hello to me, I said hello to him, and we had an amicable exchange of pleasantries, because that's what you do at funerals. You're polite to people because it's not about you and it's not about me. Anita Lowe was there. Don't know why she was there. She wasn't particularly a friend of Warren's. Anita Lowe tried to pick a fight with Lynn Kovacs and a few of the others. I find that woman, I'm not sure what she wants. Maybe we need to start there. What exactly does she want? Why would you go to someone else's funeral and try and provoke a confrontation with other people there? There's a time and a place, and that's neither the time nor the place. She's, of course, out with the Royton Independents now, campaigning alongside the Royton Independents. And to answer your question, Louise, we've heard back now from the Liberal Democrats, Howard Sykes. I've got an email from him. He's confirmed there will be no pact, no deal done with Labour. The only people who haven't responded is the Royton Independents, and of course the Oldham group took their posts down, and we know about their secret arrangements with Arud Shah. So no, Louise, Maggie Hurley has not responded at all. So a fake political party called the Royton Independents, but the Pothole Party, they're not a party at all. Yeah, they've got a chair, secretary, treasurer, all of that. So just a paper exercise. But they've not responded. And they've had plenty of time to respond, and everyone else of significance has had the courtesy of providing me with a response, including all the other independent factions. So Mark Ince has, Sandra Ball has. Nothing from Maggie Hurley. Maybe John Hughes didn't give her permission. Maybe John Hughes didn't give permission. Is that what you think she wants? Attention, Lynn? Jack as well? Maybe. So I just find it really alien. I find it really, really alien. There's a funeral, for crying out loud. And as much as, I thought very highly of Warren and his family, his wife, Joan, his daughter, I get on with. I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't dare. The Oldham group are liars. Okay. Cameron Gaffer told me he'd be supporting me for the Oldham West seat and then went behind my back to try and campaign. The Oldham group are just opportunists and liars. And you'll see in a forthcoming transmission, I will clearly demonstrate the links with senior members of the Oldham group and organised crime. That's correct. Senior members of the Oldham group and organised crime. I've got a dossier together and I'll put a transmission together and share that. If we believe Arooj Shah's association with Irish IMI is unpalatable, then I will demonstrate at least equally unpalatable and even closer relationships between senior members of the Oldham group and gangsters. If you're finding value in these transmissions, please like, please share. My plan is to put one out tomorrow night, also on Tuesday night, and also on Wednesday night in the lead up to the election. So the plan is to go out every night this week and be out campaigning during the daytime. My court case, my defence is prepared. I just need one review meeting with my barrister, and I think that's scheduled for Wednesday. Okay. I want to talk about the Kirklees convictions, but I want to give that the space it deserves. So I'll maybe do that tomorrow evening. So those of you who've contacted me about the convictions, I will do something very, very specific on that and draw it back to what we've been talking about from the beginning and why I've been repeatedly attacked is because of my position that the grooming gangs and their activities, they were racially motivated crimes. I'm very clear on that, and I'm clear on that with a 20-year plus career in anti-racism work. And I think what's come out so far is very, very limited. The reporting on it in a certain way to try and not give it the profile it deserves. So I'll get onto that separately, I think. Probably tomorrow. I know some of you have also contacted me about some local issues, like the Oldham Coliseum and the video that's gone out and Arooj Shah's double dealing. Again, I'll do that on some of the local issues that will affect the election, probably on the Tuesday evening. So I'll do something on the local issues that will affect the election on a Tuesday evening, and I'll do something very, very specific on the CSE tomorrow evening. And depending on how I feel, I might do the expose on the Oldham group on Wednesday evening, the night before the election, to demonstrate their links with organised crime. But today, I wanted to go through the wards. I wanted to review them again. I know we've done it a little bit, but I'm going to do it again. It's the week before the election, and many people have contacted me saying, who do I vote for here? Who do I vote for there? Who's best placed here? So what I'm going to go through is systematically through the wards and say who's best placed. Not my endorsement per se, but who's best placed to win, particularly if the opposition or the if it's involving a Labour Party candidate to remove. So these aren't necessarily endorsements, but I'm saying if you want to remove Labour, and we've been clear from the outset, first base is removing Labour, then I will share with you who I believe is best placed to do so. Okay. Please like, share, and apparently I've got to click something on here and bring an advert up. Here's Modud is the Conservative candidate in Chadderton North. Chadderton North, Labour delivered with Heron leaflets, so they paid for the leaflets to be delivered. Yep, they have. And speaking of leaflets, Louise, I'd left a batch of leaflets behind at Cafe Grill in Royton that we've kind of taken over as a base. We do, the lattes there are nice enough. They have a masala chai, an Asian style chai that I've been fattening myself up on. But not apparently, Maggie Hurley picked some leaflets up yesterday. So Maggie, you're more than entitled to my leaflets. And you're more than, if you want some more, Maggie, because I've not seen any of the Royton Independent leaflets anywhere. So you're more than welcome to take my leaflets and distribute them as you see fit, because I'm simply attacking Labour. So what I've done from the outset. So I thought John Hughes might have done your leaflets for you. Got some context now? No, never mind, Maggie. You can take my leaflets from my friend's cafe. He sat there and said, Roger, they're for reading, aren't they? I said, yes, Tuin. It's called Tuin, by the way. They're for reading. He goes, well, if they're for reading. I gave her quite a handful. You don't mind? I said, no, Tuin. Why would I mind? The leaflets are for reading. And if Maggie Hurley wants to disappear down the street with 50 or 100 of my leaflets, let her. No problem whatsoever. If she wants some more, I'll leave some more there. Because first base is getting rid of Labour. And I have something on Stephen Bashforth that I will share as well. I think on Tuesday night. Something very specific on Stephen Bashforth that will damage him. It'll damage him. The Reuters Independent should have gone and obtained information, used information, but they want to talk about potholes. But I've got something on Stephen Bashforth, and I think, I was reminded today by a friend of mine, a politician friend of mine, Raja, you have a responsibility to help remove Labour Party councillors, candidates, even if you don't like the opposition. Even if you don't like the opposition. And I reflected, I said, no, he's right. He's right. He knew I'd been sat on a file on Bashforth. And I said, okay, I'll do something very specific on it. Okay. If you're curious, Jack, if Mark Wilkinson is going to be on Mintz's group or not, and again, there's a conversation I had at, is it Awake? I suppose it was Awake. It was at the Crown and Cushion afterwards. Moib, Mr. P and I went to Warren's funeral because I know the reason why Warren and I became friends was because Mohib insisted I go and see him. He said he's an ex-councillor, he's alright, bit loony, but he's alright. Which is why I went and saw Warren when I first met with him. So Mohib took the afternoon off work, I think, and came to the funeral with me. And I was speaking with a friend of mine who's, good friend of mine, who's part of Mark Wilkinson's team. And I said, is he with Mark Ince? Is he with the independent group? Tig. And the response was, they can't get, and this is his own team members. This is people who are delivering his Mark Wilkinson's leaflets. They can't get a straight answer out of him. So I'll leave that to you, Jack, to decide if you can't get a straight answer out of someone, what does that say? I mean, first of all, it questions, for me, it's a question of their credibility to represent you when they can't answer something as simple as that. Are you affiliated with Mark Hince's The Independent Group? This is the group that attempted to sabotage the CSE motion, and then whose leader, Mark Hince, stood up and defended Arud Shah in accusing the rest of us as far-right and racists. Are you with him or not? It's a fair question. I don't know. Why the secrecy, Julie? I don't know. But Jack asks. It's more than irritating, Jack. Let's see. No, let's see. But so far, even he won't even be clear with his own people. Okay, let's carry on. And there's a way I want to do this. I think that's what I want. Yes, perfect. Sorry, let me just move my drink out of the way. First of all, Alexander Ward. Existing Labour seat. The Labour councillors stepped down, remember? Jenny Harrison. And the Labour Party have put up Ghazala Rana as their official candidate. If you live in Alexander Ward, you really have two options. You can vote for Ali Zahir, who's at the top. It's in Alexander Ward. My recommendation for the person who can win is Zahir Ali, and he's actually of the Oldham group. So those of you who question my impartiality, no, I think he's a decent guy. Hopefully he won't stay with the Oldham group, particularly if they get into bed with Labour. I know his brother, and his brother is friends with a very good friend of mine, decent bloke. No issue with him whatsoever. Vote for him in Alexander. And if you can't bring yourself to vote for him, then I would say please vote for Anne Taylor of Northern Heart, which is Oldham Heart Paul Taylor's group. He's trying hard to try and gain some momentum. And if you can't vote for Ali Zahir Ali, then please vote for Anne Taylor, which is what I'd say there. Vote for the Green candidate, the other independent candidate, the Lib Dems, Conservatives, complete waste of time. If you want to win in Alexandra and take out Labour, which would be a net loss for Labour, by the way, it would be a net loss for Labour, then vote for Zahir Ali. Chadderton Central. I have been nothing but open in my support for the Conservative candidate there, been abused by a bunch of extremists as far as I'm concerned because I've supported him. His name is Mohammed Razan. Now remember, in Chadderton Central we've also got our own candidate standing, that's Peter Brown there. Do I think Peter Brown will win again? I don't think so. We didn't put him there to win, we put him there to help take Labour out. They're not necessarily the same thing, are they? We're hoping that Peter Brown will take votes off Elaine Taylor. And Razan, even though he's a Conservative, even though the Conservatives are not liked in the Muslim community because of Gaza, in the same way the Labour Party is not liked, but I like Razan. I think he's a decent young man. I think we need a new blood in the council. We need decent councillors, decent representation. I think Razan would give us that. And I'm encouraging people to vote for Razan. Whether he'll get over the line, I don't know. If he won't get over the line, then Elaine Taylor will win. So please, if you're tactically voting, vote for Razan. Or if you want to support us and help us grow, vote for Peter Brown. But those are your two options there. But if you said to me, who is most likely to be able to take out Elaine Taylor the answer is Razan. There's just no doubt about that whatsoever, as far as I'm concerned. In Chadderton North, and thank you very, very much for the super chat. It was completely unnecessarily muddled, but thank you, because I am fair Modud's, of course, the candidate in Chadderton North. It's a straighter race. You can see there's only 4 candidates there. Eddie Moores. I despise Eddie Moores. He's one of the councillors whose position dates back to the cover-up. We need to take Eddie Moores out. You've got to vote for Modud, the Conservative councillor. So it's Modud Ahmed. And I had an interesting conversation. It's on Facebook today, over the week, where someone, I don't even think he's from Chadderton, yeah, he was from Chadderton North, wanted to know who the Conservative candidate was in Chadderton North. And I said, the Conservative candidate is the only one that can win, it's Modud. And I got the response, he's not local enough. And it was, the subtext was he's an ethnic minority, which is why the people of Chadderton North won't vote for him. I'm an ethnic minority. I need you to vote for me if we're going to defeat McMahon. And you've all followed me this far. Now, I'm not a particular fan of Modud's, is he? I don't know him that well, but if you want to beat Eddie Moores and first base is defeat Labour, and we need to be true with ourselves, then that's a Conservative. And his name is Modud Ahmed. And you'll have to vote for him. Thank you, Phil, for the super chat. And you're right, Julie. We need to get Eddie Moores out. And to get Eddie Moores out, we've got to vote for Modud. There's no one else on here that can beat him. Mohammed Shah Alam is the Oldham group. It's one of Kami G's candidates, and it's done to try and split the vote. So Mohammed Shah Alam is a complete waste of time. It's one of Kami G's candidates, designed to split the votes. And remember, this is the Kami G who's not in bed with Labour. Well, why has he put a candidate there? Why has he put a candidate against Modud there? Chadderton South. And I will do a piece on this, by the way, during the course of the week. This might be Wednesday as well, which is to do with the Limeside attack and McMahon's statement and the way the newspapers reported on it, and also how they've woven in Cal Bardsley as a racist because he was a member of the BNP 15 years ago. I've spoken to Cal Bardsley directly. I have no issue with Cal. I'm proud of the fact that he was a member of the BNP 15 years ago, and now he's a member of a mainstream political party, and he's gone on a journey. I don't judge someone for their political affiliations through ignorance 15 years ago. And if anything, I blame myself, and I blame people like me for not engaging with working class men such as Cal Bardsley at a time we should have been doing. So in Chadderton South, if you want to beat Holly Harrison, the only person who can beat Holly Harrison is Cal Bardsley. That's the only person who can beat it. You'll see Muhammad Ali there. That's another one of Kami G's appointments. I'm looking forward to seeing how many votes Muhammad Ali gets. Apparently they thought they were going to win it. They won't win it. If you want to take out Holly Harrison in Chadderton South, the only candidate that can do it is Cal Bardsley. And again, this would be taking a seat off Labour. He'll be taking a sitting councillor off Labour. In Coldust, I've seen the attacks he's getting. Those of you who follow me, one of the reasons you follow me is because I'm loyal. I'm loyal to my people. If I say they've done something wrong, I'll tell them to their face they've done something wrong, and I'll expect better of them. I'm loyal to Montaz. And if you want to beat Labour, if you want to take Ruji out in Coldust, the only person to vote for is Montaz, the independent. He's not linked to the Oldham group because I spoke to him. He's standing as a Coldust independent, a genuine independent. He's my candidate in Coldust. And he will support us however we ask him to support us. So if you want to take a seat off Labour in Coldust, the only person you can vote for is Montaz, and you should vote for Montaz. And there are people in the community trying to undermine him. So yes, Ruji needs to go, and the only person to do that in Coldust is Montaz Ali Azad. So please go and vote for him. In Crompton, I'm not going to put Crompton up here, but because it's a Lib Dem stronghold. But I looked at that. I looked at how Mark Hints has behaved, including phoning people up drunk and making threats. No. The Liberal Democrats have woken up as a consequence of what we did to them last year. Howard Sykes is now active in a way he never has been. You've seen the council meetings, how well organised the Lib Dems are. We need a strong Liberal Democrat opposition in this town because we don't know what's going to happen with the Conservatives, particularly with the Saddleworth faction. My recommendation in Crompton is a vote for Diane Williamson. I can't believe I'm saying that, but if you want to keep Labour out and you want a strong opposition, then Diane Williamson is the person to vote for. It's not Lee Navesey. He won't be able to string a sentence together in that council chamber. It'll be another Maggie Hurley or a Sandra Ball. If you want credible opposition, coordinated opposition, and you live in Crompton, then you have to vote for Diane Williamson, the Liberal Democrat. He's delivering the leaflets that he shouldn't be delivering because he's paid for them himself now. So he's allowed to deliver them rather than use your money, the taxpayers' money, the parish taxpayers' money. So the fact that he tried to deliver them using the parish taxpayers' money, now we're using his own money to deliver those leaflets, demonstrates that the Lib Dems were right to call him out because he's using them for electioneering purposes. He's one of those men that thinks he's smart but isn't half as smart as he thinks he is. Jack, and Howard Sykes will run rings round him because I won't protect him. Howard Sykes will run rings round him. And I like salted popcorn, by the way. In Failsworth East, because of the stupidity between the independent candidates, the two factions, and Mark Wilkinson's desire for vengeance, because that's what it is, revenge for what happened last year. Lucia Ray is the only candidate who can win there. I would not vote for Catherine Charnock, the other Failsworth, the Wilkinson Failsworth faction. Lucia is the strongest of the two independents there. And if you want to keep the Labour candidates out from winning a seat there, because that's what they'll do, they'll win a seat there, you've got to vote for Lucia. Doesn't matter if you like Brian Hoban or not. Doesn't matter if you like FIP or not. If you want to keep Labour out, the only credible candidate in Failsworth East is Lucia Ray. And I'm told she doesn't like me. I don't care that she doesn't like me. I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to defeat Labour and take back our town. And Lucia is the person to vote for in Failsworth East. A vote for Catherine Charnock is a complete waste. And remember, the Labour Party have put forward Ken Rustage that they have plans for. So it's important you keep Ken Rustage out. It's important you keep the Labour out of Failsworth East, otherwise they'll take that seat. And Lucia is the person to vote for. And in Failsworth West, just to demonstrate once again my complete impartiality here, I do not believe that Jane Casanelli, the Failsworth Independent Party, has got enough support in Failsworth West to win. The Labour Party have put forward Kyle Fiffian, Clint Fiffian's son. Kyle works for Jim McMahon, so you know what they're trying to do there. I don't like him because of what's gone on between him and me, because he's not had the courage. That's my issue with Mark Wilkinson. He knew the truth, he knew what had happened, and he doesn't have the courage, which is the same issue for me with him and Mark Ince and the Oldham group. He knows he can't stand with the Oldham group, but he doesn't have the courage to say so because he's scared of falling out with people. I think that's weak. But my position is very clear. In Failsworth West, if you want to take the seat off Labour, remember it's an existing Labour seat, the only person you can vote to get over the line is Mark Wilkinson. So in Failsworth West, and that's another one off Labour. Hollingwood is very, very tight. It's tight between the Oldham Group candidate, who was a former Conservative, and his name here is Mohammed Irfan. You can see him, independent, and he's up against the Labour Party candidate, Nassim Aslam. Now the problem for Irfan is that his vote is split, because his vote is split because Aslam has took some of the Muslim vote away from him, and the Labour Party have a white core vote that will turn out and vote Labour. So whilst the cartel vote is split more or less equally, it's who will come out and vote. Before Irfan had, as a Conservative, he had a couple of hundred white Conservatives who had bolstered his votes. He hasn't got that now. I think he'll lose that to Nassim Aslam. So if you live in Hollingwood, and you want to keep Labour out of winning a seat, you've got to vote for Mohammed Irfan from the Oldham Group. Now there are other candidates there. You can see Ian Whitehead. You can see John Lawrence. Nothing against these people. They won't get anywhere near the votes. Ewan Edge, nowhere near the votes. The only person who can compete here with Labour is Mohammed Irfan, the existing the Oldham Group. And you can see again, I'm promoting another Oldham Group despite my issues with Councillor Wahid and Councillor Kamiji. If you want to keep Labour out in Hollingwood, Irfan is the guy. Otherwise, Labour will win and take a seat there. Nice. I have no idea what he shared. I've not seen him, Evan. Medlock Vale. There's an existing Labour Party councillor, Uma Nashim, and she's been took on. The only person who can beat her is Shamash Altaf. Shams, we call him. I've met him a few times. Again, he's the only candidate that can take out Labour. Again, he's an Oldham Group candidate. If you live in Medlock Vale, I'd vote for him. And you also see the back. He's not there, is he? The litter picking guy, the old proud of Oldham guy. Sorry, I've forgotten his name. Mark Birchall. He's decided not to stand. So, who do you vote for? Who do those 500 people go and vote for? And if there's no one there to vote for, once you give up voting, once you're more likely not to vote again, and so on and so on. It's a bad day for our democracy when people don't have a candidate that they can support. So the guy to vote for in Medlock Vale, and that's a separate issue. really. But the guy to vote for in Medlock Vale, if you want to defeat Labour, is Shamas Altaf of the Oldham Group. He's there as an independent. Royton North. Lewis Quigg is the existing candidate. Labour are putting much resources into trying to remove Lewis. More so, most reason why isn't because it's a seat they think they can win. It's because they need to remove Lewis because he's the one who's leading the opposition against Arood Shah. He's our voice. He's the voice of the people in that council chamber, more so than any other councillor, and they want him removed. So you've got to vote for Lewis. I don't care if you're a Conservative or not, you've got to vote for Lewis. Just so we hold that seat from Labour. We keep Fifian out. This is a man who claimed it's a waste of money to investigate an inquiry into the cover-up of the gang rape of children. Is a waste of money. But they want rid of Lewis. Matt Mahan's been campaigning in Royton because they want to get rid of Lewis, and you're right, Denise, people need to vote for Lewis Quigg. And to Shah and his mates, who claim Lewis Quigg is a racist, what has he demonstrated in any way that he's a racist? He hasn't. These people need to understand, simply because we disagree with them doesn't make us racists. Lewis might be pro-Israeli. I don't know. You'll have to ask him. I don't know. It's not a conversation I've had per se with him. That doesn't make him a racist. He's the best candidate councillor we've got. And again, do you see young blood coming through in this town? Articulate, educated. He's not the sort of councillor, irrespective of the political party, he's not the sort of councillor we want to see. So if you're in Royton North, Lewis is the person to vote for. And by the way, my friend is Miranda Meadowcroft. I bumped into her last year, the Green Party, and I'll have a drink with her at some point. Miranda's top. So if you can't bring yourself to vote for Lewis, please don't vote for Fifi and go and vote for Miranda. She's a lovely lady. She's genuinely a lovely lady. Sweet as anything. Green Party. If you can't vote for Lewis, if you can't bring yourself to vote for Lewis because your grandfather would turn in his grave or whatever nonsense, because he's a Conservative, go and vote for Miranda. Thank you, Chris. Lewis will get my vote. Thank you. We come to Royton South. Steve Bashforth, sitting councillor. This isn't about me, it's never been about me. This is about our town. It's far greater than me. The person to beat, to vote for, I don't like him. I've made my position clear, but the person to vote for is Jade Hughes. If you want to remove Labour from power in Royton South, if you live in Royton South and want to help take this council out of the control of Labour, the only person you can vote for off this list in Royton South who is capable of doing that is Jade Hughes. Do you see? I'm completely fair, objective, rational, calm. This is what they don't like. This is why they hate me. One of the reasons they hate me. The only person to vote for in Royton South, if you want to take out Stephen Bashforth, is Jade Hughes. And remember, I've got a file on Bashforth that I will share on Tuesday or Wednesday night. Saddleworth North, Garth Harkness is the existing councillor who's standing. Hannah Roberts, remember? Kicked out of Royton, kicked out of Hollingwood, is now back at Saddleworth North where she belongs, the Delft Donkey or whatever she's called. People refer to her as. Christopher Marshall standing is one of the Proud of Oldham group. Actually, the Proud of Oldham group, I'm finding something interesting, confusing. I'll talk about once we get to Eric's name on the candidacy. But if you genuinely want to keep Hannah Roberts out, the only candidate there that will win is Garth Harkness. And it's the same as in Crompton. An organised, strong Lib Dem opposition is essential in this town, and Garth Harkness is a competent man. So if I lived in Saddleworth North and I looked at that list, whilst my heart would say, go and vote for Chris Marshall, my head would say, go and vote for Garth Harkness and make sure Hannah Roberts doesn't come in through the middle. In Saddleworth South, Paul Eric standing, and again you see independent next to his name. Now when I last looked, a Proud of Oldham and Saddleworth were a registered political party. So I'm not sure why, I have no understanding why they're not standing under POAS, but rather as independents. I don't understand that. Has the party closed down? Has something happened? I don't know. But I look at Saddleworth South and I look at that. Max Woodvine is the Conservative candidate. The Labour candidate is Dominic Wall. The Lib Dem candidate is Amy Wrigley. Ordinarily, it would be between the Conservative candidate Max Woodvine and the Lib Dems Amy Wrigley, and the Lib Dems have been taking more and more seats in Saddleworth. You know what? Labour haven't got a look in here. If it was me and I was in Saddleworth South, that's despite everything that's gone on, I'd vote for Paul Eric. It's a free hit here. Give the independents some heart, something to, hold on to, something to build on. In Saddleworth South, I'd vote for Paul Eric. Agree with you, Gary, see? Yeah. I don't carry grudges. And I have no issue disagreeing with people. We straighten out and we move on. Unfortunately, what I found in this town, and since I started engaging in this the way I do, I found most people aren't like me. But no, I'd vote for Paul Eric. Saddleworth South, if you live in Saddleworth South, go and vote for Paul Boots. And hopefully after the elections are over, depending where they're up to, he can give me a call if he wants, and we can see how we can strengthen the independent movement. I don't see his videos, Sheila, because the Proud of Oldham and Saddleworth page a long time ago blocked me. I've never said anything on the page, they just blocked me, and that was that. I've not been unblocked since. That's by the by. Good, Sally. Paul Eric is getting your vote. Good. Let's see how well he does. You don't want to see your people be humiliated, do you? As far as I'm concerned, despite our differences, I look at that list and I say, who's mine? And it's Paul. So I'd be voting for Paul if I was in Saddleworth South. But Labour, it's not on this list, on this, what I'm making, because Labour haven't got... What can I say, mate? Saddleworth Western Lees. Mark Kenyon standing. Labour haven't got a chance in hell with Dave Barter. Paul Shinton standing. Now, if he can't vote for the Lib Dems, again, his wife hates me. I'm alright with that. I've done nothing to upset her. She took offence to me because I haven't played ball. Never fallen out with Paul Shilton. I'd vote for Paul Shilton. Labour aren't in it at all. But again, it's between Mark Kenyon and Paul Shilton. I'd vote for Mark. I'd vote for Paul Shilton on that, if it was me. But again, it's not a seat that Labour are going to win. What have the independents done? I'll tell you what the independents have done. I'll tell you what we've done. Let me just bring myself back up for a second. I'll tell you what we've done. As a consequence of what we've done by growing the independent movement, we've mobilised, we've awakened the opposition parties to embrace on the issues that the town feels is important. So the Conservatives first did it, and the Lib Dems have done it since. Neither the Conservatives nor the Lib Dems would have mobilised around the issues that we care about if we hadn't brought it up first, and if we hadn't created the independent movement to champion these issues. So that's why, in Saddleworth Western Leeds, I'd say vote Paul Shilton. Because if the independent movement goes away, what happens? Will these people continue to champion the things we care about, or will they revert to type? I think in the main they will revert to type. So if you live in Saddleworth Western Leeds, we need to keep the independent movement alive. Paul Shilton's the guy to vote for. And in Saddleworth South, and he is, in Saddleworth South, one of the leaders of the independent movement is Paul Eric. But if you live somewhere like Chadderton North, Ellie, you've got to vote for Modud. If you want Eddie Moores out, Modud Ahmed is the guy to vote for, the Conservative candidate. If you believe in what we believe, which is first base is we need to remove Labour from power, and then we'll argue it out between the rest of us. But without removing Labour from power, there's no point, is there? There's nothing to argue over. You've got no chance, as the last 4 years have demonstrated. We've got to vote for the best candidate likely to take out the Labour candidate. In this case, the candidate is Eddie Moores, a senior Labour Party councillor who is involved in everything that's took place. I'd vote him out. And I'd vote for Modud. And yes, I accept there are people who struggle voting for a brown-faced person. I've been out delivering leaflets in Royton. I'll bring myself back up. I've been out delivering leaflets in Royton. I deliver my own leaflets. I have a team with me, but I deliver leaflets, I knock on doors, I speak to people. Every time I've gone out, I've experienced people who are uncomfortable with me, not because of what I've said, not because of the leaflet I carry, but just because I'm a brown face. I deal with it. Because I find that for every one person like that, there's 10 people who aren't like that. In fact, there's more. And I don't buy into that you've got to be white for white people to vote for you. In the same way, I don't buy into it. You've got to be brown for brown. If you're white, brown people won't vote for you. I don't buy into that. We're better than that. As a people, we're better than that. We've moved beyond that. Enough of ourselves. We can see what I care about, you care about. What you care about, I care about. And the colour of our skin has got nothing to do with the issues we care about and the dream we have of a better town for all of us and justice for the children who are gang raped. So please, if you live in Chadderton North, vote for Modud Ahmed, the Conservative candidate. If you live in Chadderton Central, vote for Razon, the Conservative candidate, because these are the only candidates that can beat. And I say this with Peter Brown as my candidate in Chadderton Central. If you can't, or if you want to grow the independent, go and vote for Peter Brown. And yes, that's what I want to see. I want to see Eddie Moores removed so he can't become mayor. Call me petty. And no, Julie, we have helped create this change. I would not have been able to do this if people like you didn't come forward and stand by me. People like your father, how old is he? 96? 97? 93? He's in his 90s, isn't he? If people like Louise, his brother lives in Oldham. She has no link to her brother lives in Oldham. He's in Shrewsbury, I think. And Gary's seen it with me. Some nutcase come running across the road to confront me. I'm even delivering leaflets through his letterbox. I smiled at him. He ranted away. Carried on smiling at him. Wished him a good morning and carried on. So what? I get the same animosity from people within my brown-faced Calder's community. He described me as a coconut and a sellout because I have white friends and I won't condemn you. It's because I refuse to condemn Carl Bardsley for being a member of the BNP 15 years ago. So no, if you're in Royton South, going back to this, despite all of my issues with the Royton Independents, if you want to get rid of Bashforth, the only person to vote for to get rid of Bashforth is Jade Hughes. Thank you, Evan. And thank you, Ian. Carl has your vote in Chariton South, and I would vote for Carl. And if I was allowed to, I would be out delivering his leaflets and knocking on people's doors and saying to people, he was a member of the BNP 15 years ago. Look at him now. He's one of our own. He's one of yours. Vote for him. So that's Royton South. We've done the Saddleworths. Sure. Labour haven't got a chance in hell. It's Stephen Hewitt. Ross Birch's boyfriend, I think, from what I've been told. I'm not sure. Former councillor in Saddleworth West. No chance. It's between Lisa Navesey and Hazel Gloucester. Of course, Lisa and Carl, husband and wife team, are nothing but the mouthpieces, the puppets of Mark Mintz. He's not bright enough. These people aren't bright enough. We need a coordinated opposition. We need a strong opposition. We need a strong Lib Dem opposition to fight Labour in the council chamber, because Howard Sykes has now awakened. He's doing the right things. Whatever he's done in the past, he's doing the right things now. I've said always, people are allowed to make mistakes. Is what they do next. He's made it clear he's not supporting the Labour Party or propping them up in any way. Hazel Gloucester is the only person who stood up and walked out when they were manipulating that council meeting to keep people out of, to restrict who could sit on the CSE subcommittees and not. Hazel Gloucester stood up and walked out. That demonstrated immense courage. She stood up and walked out on her own. It wasn't premeditated. She stood up and said, I'm not staying to listen to this, and if I lived in Shaw, I would vote for Hazel Gloucester. So please, if you live in Shaw, vote for Hazel Gloucester. That woman has guts. Indeed, Denise, that woman has guts, and I would vote for her. So if you live in Shaw, Lib Dems, Hazel Gloucester, keep the Lib Dems strong and keep women like that in the council chamber, because you need them. We need them. They have a moral compass. Do you know who I am? Is Max Woodvine, mate. St. James. McManus of the Conservatives. Chris McManus, Conservatives, would take one off Labour. Amoy, Lindo, has got no chance and she's in trouble anyway. My understanding is those leaflets have been referred to the police. She's not had the decency to go out and apologise directly, speak to Lewis, speak to Chris, and it's just escalated. I've tried my best. Pride. Pride before a fall. But if you want to beat the Labour Party council, and that's Josh Charters, who isn't out campaigning really in St James, is their coordinator. It's a paid role. Aruj Shah's giving him a paid role. In other areas, it's people do the coordinations for free, so he's being paid as a reward. You're going to take out Josh Charters, and you should take out Josh Charters because he's one of Aruj Shah's lieutenants. Then Chris McManus, and he's a decent guy, Chris. Cares passionately about CSE, genuinely cares about CSE. Was unlucky to have lost in Saddleworth through no fault of his own, because of the shenanigans of Woodvine and Pamberm's daughter in part, Gary, and the sort of entitlement that generation and that ilk like of Conservatives have up there. But Chris isn't like that. He's a decent guy, and if I lived in St James's, I would vote for Chris McManus, the Conservative candidate there, and he can take a seat from Labour. Thank you, Christine. Hazel has your vote for a stance on CSE. Thank you very, very much. And Modded, I'm glad you're finding that in Chadderton North. I'm glad you're finding that in Chadderton North. And I hope you can see I'm being nothing but fair. Because in the end of the day, this is my town, these are my people, and I care about all of you. St Mary's. Sorry, I'm running out of space here. There's a horrible video going around that I will have nothing to do with. To do with Aisha Kauser. She's an independent. They're claiming she's the Oldham group, but she isn't. Her own leaflets have got nothing to do with the Oldham group on it. They tried to take her and she's standing on her own. Good on her. There's a whole host of abusive stuff going on around now. Misogynistic stuff. Genuine misogynistic stuff. It's promoted by the Labour Party. Because Akil Salamat is the only other candidate, existing Labour Party candidate there. Which she's trying to take out. Aisha as the one. Aisha is the one we need to vote for. We need strong, independent women, particularly South Asian women in there as well as other women. You can see the absence of them, and if they are there, they've got to pander to the men in a certain way. I don't care what Aisha does in her private life. As long as it's legal, I don't care. I don't think any of you should either. Young people have relationships. They have male friends, they have female friends. And trying to pick up on that as an issue. Outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. And Aruj Shah, who's the Oldham Council leader, St Mary's councillor, should have come out and condemned the misogynistic attacks that Aisha has suffered. And she hasn't. So misogyny is okay, is it, Aruj? When it's used to attack your opponents. If you live in St Mary's, Aisha's the one to vote for. And she'll take a seat of Labour. Waterhead. Ross Birch is the existing councillor. Paul Taylor, my friend Paul Taylor, standing from Northern Heart. You won't get enough votes. My friend Paul Taylor, you won't get enough votes. If you want to beat Labour and remove Labour from power in Waterhead Ward, you have to vote for Naveed Chauhan. The Oldham group, I spoke to Naveed last time I spoke to him. I sat with him and I said, hello, we exchange views. It's fine. I ain't got an issue with Naveed. Got an issue with his boss. But I think he's got an issue with his boss as well. But if you want to take Labour out in Waterhead, then Naveed Chauhan is the only person who can win there. And I want Paul to do well. So let's see how many votes he gets this time. And the last one is Werner. Squeeze it now at the bottom. No Labour candidate. Remember what we did. No Labour candidate there. You look at Amjad Ali, the independent, and you look at Naila Ibrahim. It's between those two. Personally, I think what Naila did is brave. I think she's a competent councillor. She'll sit alongside Shoaib Akhtar, who's one of Oldham's brightest councillors, principal councillor. And on that, I'd vote for Naila, even though she is Kamiji's cousin. I think Naila Ibrahim is you want councillors in there who know what they're doing. Not just ward councillors who can report potholes, but who can operate strategically. And that's automatically another one off Labour. I think that's the point, Pauline. I think Paul Taylor's stretched and he's not running a campaign to win, really. There's so much I could do with Paul and some of the others, but we've got a general election to win, haven't we, Pauline? Immediately after this, we've got a general election to win. So those are my views and opinions. And if I tally it up, there are 11 Labour Party seats that can be removed. They've only got 12 candidates standing, I think. 11 standing, 12 standing. We can decimate them. I don't think that'll happen, but they'll lose overall control. I worry about Failsworth, East and Failsworth West, and I think Labour will come through the middle there and gain one seat because they're sitting one already. So it'll be from 31 to 32. I also think the Oldham group will lose in Hollingwood. That'll take Labour to 33. But across the board elsewhere, they can be removed. So that's what we're up to. Labour, vote, turn out and vote. And Oldham Council will go into no overall control on Thursday night. I will be at the count. From spending my morning in the trial, I'll be at the count in the evening. I do have some, crack the right word, I do have stuff on Stephen Bashforth. I'm of a mind to release it on Tuesday or Wednesday. Tomorrow will be specifically around the CSE. I hope you found value in this transmission. Please like, please share. Please consider buying me a coffee or a samosa as I mock. These transmissions are only possible with your support. I am exhausted. I've been at this now. This is my 6th year. If you are of a mind to do so, subscribe to the channel, and thank you to the 1 or 2 of you that have bought some super chats this evening. I don't come anywhere near breaking even on these free-to-air transmissions, and if anything, I lose supporters. But I feel it's necessary in the lead up to the election that I provide the analysis that you're not going to get anywhere else. I hope I've been fair to all of the candidates, and I've laid out who is best placed to beat Labour. And my apologies to my friends who are standing, when I've not favoured them. A very good night. See you tomorrow.
Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them. On the 20th of November 2003, James Ignatius O'Rourke McMahon was elected councillor for the Failsworth East Ward of Oldham. Deeply ambitious, he ruthlessly rose to power, and by 2011 he was already leader of the council. In 2015, exploiting a Labour Party loophole, he became MP for Oldham West and Royton. If only the people of the town knew then what they now know. Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them.